Namaskar, friends. Setting learning outcomes is one of the most important shifts in contemporary education, especially in the light of CBSE reforms and NCF 2023. Before we begin any lesson, it is essential for us as teachers to pause and reflect on one key question. When the lesson ends, what should the learner be able to do? Education today is no longer about how much content the teacher has covered. It's about meaningful learning the student has achieved. Remember, teaching is a process, but learning is the purpose. And learning outcomes provide that purpose with clarity and direction. Learning outcomes are clear, student centered statements that describe what learners will know, understand, or be able to demonstrate after a learning experience. Learning outcomes should be smart. Yes, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. When learning outcomes are well defined, they guide our teaching strategies, classroom activities, and assessment practices. Without clear learning outcomes, even effective teaching can become unfocused, and students may struggle to understand what is truly expected of them. It's important to understand what learning outcomes are not. Friends, learning outcomes are not a list of topics to be covered, nor are they statements of what the teacher plans to teach. For example, saying I'll teach photosynthesis reflects a teaching intention, not a learning outcome. A learning outcome shifts the focus to the learner, such as students will be able to explain the process of photosynthesis using a labeled diagram. Now, this shift from teaching to learning is at the heart of competency based education. NCF 2023 strongly emphasizes that learning outcomes should drive the entire teaching learning process. According to this framework, learning outcomes come first, pedagogy follows, and assessment is designed last. This approach ensures that assessment measures actual understanding and application rather than rote memorization. Friends, when outcomes are clearly articulated, students know what they are working towards, teachers plan more purposefully, and assessment becomes fair, meaningful, and aligned with learning goals. A well written learning outcome usually contains an action verb, a concept or a skill, and sometimes the context in which the learning will be demonstrated. Action verbs over here are especially important because they describe what the learner will do. Bloom's taxonomy provides useful guidance in selecting these verbs, ranging from lower order skills such as remembering and understanding to higher order skills like analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Balanced learning outcomes help move students from surface learning to deeper conceptual understanding. Learning outcomes can be written across all subjects and grade levels. In mathematics, an outcome might state that students will solve real life problems involving fractions. In science, Students may be expected to conduct an experiment and record observations. In languages, learners might write a paragraph expressing their views on a given topic, while in social science, they may analyze causes and effects of some historical or social event. In each case, the emphasis is on what the learner can demonstrate, not on what the teacher has explained. Once learning outcomes are clear, assessment naturally aligns with them. If an outcome expects students to explain, analyze, or create, then assessment must provide opportunities for explanation, reasoning, and creativity rather than relying only on recall based questions. Friends, this alignment is central to competency based assessment as envisioned by CBSE and NCF 2023. It ensures that assessment supports learning rather than causing unnecessary stress or confusion. While setting learning outcomes, teachers should avoid common mistakes such as using vague verbs like know or understand, writing too many outcomes for a single lesson, or framing outcomes that cannot be assessed. Effective learning outcomes are clear, specific, achievable, and focused on meaningful learning. They help teachers stay purposeful and help students feel confident about what is expected of them. At last, I would say if content is the road, learning outcomes are the destination. When teachers are clear about learning outcomes, students experience clarity, confidence, and deeper engagement with learning. Moving from the mindset of I finished the chapter to my students achieve the learning outcome is the true shift required in today's classrooms. By setting thoughtful and well aligned learning outcomes, teachers play a crucial role in making learning meaningful and competency based. And it also ensures that the learning becomes learner centered. Thank you very much.